guys, welcome back to Ask Snes. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a good week. So we're back with another load of questions and got a lot of good questions from a lot of great people as per usual. So let's get stuck straight into them. And the first set of questions this week are from Retro Shane 88. So cheers Shane, thank you mate. Shane's first question. What is the most expensive console to collect for? And what is the most expensive console you have collected for? The most expensive console to collect for, I would assume, would be the Neo Geo, because they are insane prices and that's rich man's game, that is. You got a lot of cash to truly collect for the Neo Geo. For me personally, the most expensive console I collect for is the Super Famicom or Super Nintendo. They're not massively overpriced, but some of the games can get really bloody expensive. Luckily for the majority of the games that I want, they're not that bad, they're pretty reasonable. They're under £100 a pop, so that's good. But there are a few that peak over that and even higher than that as well. Are expensive games a blessing or a curse? It depends. I mean, they are a curse in a way because obviously they're expensive and by default it makes them a little bit unobtainable either for a long period of time while you're saving for the game or even at all because they might be so expensive you're not willing to pay the money for them. Can't believe I've just started that. Bleeding dog started already, that little bastard. I swear to God, he just knows when I'm doing a video. He's such an annoying little shit. I had him all afternoon yesterday. All yesterday afternoon he would not shut up. I just want to go over there and just go put him out of his bloody misery. Anyway, yeah, so high prices, are they a blessing or a curse? As I say, yes, depending what the situation is. I think some games, if you really, really want them, then you might, if they're not like 500 quid or £1,000, they're not ridiculously priced, they're not reasonable. Say at the most you're going to be paying 200. That's something that's obtainable that you can actually save up for. And if it's a game that you really, really want, like Final Fight 3 or Final Fight Tough in Japan is the game that I want for my collection, which I've played many a time and absolutely love. It's a brilliant game. It's a short game, but a brilliant game. Now, I'm going to be looking at about, if I'm on a good day, 150, most of the time 200 to 220. I'm actually willing to pay 200 if I have to when it comes to that day, just because I know that I'm going to get hours and hours of enjoyment out of that game and I can play it back to back multiple times. So it all depends on what justifies the price to you, I think, really, more than anything. But yeah, the whole thing with people saying, oh, it's old, so it's worth a lot, that gets on my nerves quite a lot, and jacking the prices up really is frustrating. But it's a bit of both, I think, bit of a blessing, bit of a curse. Probably not as much blessing. What are your thoughts on Sega finally bringing Axel Stone and Robo X back for Project Zone X2? I haven't got a Scooby-Doo about that, to be honest, Shane. I don't know anything about it, so I'm afraid I can't answer that one. No, yappy little dogs, man. Did you ever watch wrestling back in the day? I did, mate. Back in the 80s, massive WWF fan. I was a Hulkamaniac. That was my wrestler, man. Hulk Hogan was the nuts. I absolutely love the Hulkster. But also, like, obviously the big ones like Warrior and Macho Man Randy Savage, Legion of Doom. Mr. Perfect was alright. $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. All the classics, really. I absolutely loved WWF back in the day. We used to have Sky when I was living with my parents when I was a kid. And I used to sit up and watch like the Royal Rumbles and all the big events and WrestleMania and all that sort of thing. And yeah, absolutely love it. I know you're not a football fan, but why are the BBC hell-bent on shoving women's football down our throats when there is zero interest or commercial market for it? Surely common sense should prevail over PC bullshit. If I'm honest, Shane, I actually, my argument is, why are we having a Women's World Cup and not having a combined World Cup? I don't understand why we have to have a male World Cup and a female World Cup. To me, that's bullshit. And it's nothing to do with being politically correct, because you probably know from watching my videos, I'm not politically correct. Even more so in real life, outside of YouTube, I'm definitely not politically correct. I cannot stand political correctness. It drives me insane. But when it comes to this, I think it's quite ridiculous in 2015 that we have to have two different World Cups. I don't understand why women and men can't play football together. It's absolutely stupid. So it's beyond me as to what the point of that is. As for the World Cup on TV, I ain't that arsed because I don't watch football. So I did watch a bit of the German match with the Ivory Coast, but it was quite boring. Although apparently Germany did win 10-0 eventually, so it must have got better. What did you make of the US policeman Eric Casebolt, who resigned after protests following his use of force against black teenagers at a pool party? In general, I would suggest the main issues are the US gun culture and the media misrepresentation rather than racism. We weren't aware of the information the officer was acting on, whilst the mass media make it about race and choose not to report when a white officer shoots a white person. True. I don't know too much. All I know is what I saw on the Daily Show the other night, and there's a really great clip actually where the police officer, for some reason, does a gambol on the floor. I don't know what the hell that was. It's like some Starsky and Hutch role. It was just bizarre. But the whole situation, from what I understood, was just didn't make any sense to me. From what I understood, the girl that he was trying to force down on the floor had got a porn pass and lived there for years and had hauled out a porn pass, and there was no reason for her not to be at the party. And I don't really know what the facts are, so it's hard to really comment on it. I only saw that a little bit on the Daily Show. And from what I can understand, the US media, as per usual, as you say, were trying to make it about race and the fact that a lot of black kids turned up and therefore everyone overreacted and freaked out. And you never know if that's true, because I know obviously America does still have a racism problem, so maybe that is part of what happened. Or it was just a total overreaction to youngsters having fun. I don't know. Or gate crashers. I mean, you can't tell, because you see the video clip and you see the cop pulling the gun and being completely over the top. But as you say, you don't know what he was responding to, what he'd been told before he got to the scene. There's so many factors you can't. Unfortunately nowadays, especially the media, you get one focused view like that on the camera, and you don't see anything on the periphery. You don't know what's happened before, what's happening afterwards, during, what's going on around outside the camera. You don't know what's happening, what the reasons are for the copper being there, what had happened prior to the copper arriving. So there's so many different bits of information that are always missed out, and they just try and filter it into one narrative just to fit. Basically, I mean, obviously, because all different networks have their own narratives they have to stick to. Like Fox is completely mental, and then you'll get another network which are completely liberal, so they have to try and spin the story and fill the time because they've got 24 hours of bullshit to fill. But yes, from what I saw, it was an overreaction, but without knowing the facts, it's impossible to comment really. Who is the biggest twat, Katie Hopkins or Sepp Blatter? Katie Hopkins for me still, mate. It's going to be hard to find someone who beats her. I'm not a football guy, as you know, so Sepp Blatter, I ain't that arsed. If I was into football, I would probably say Sepp Blatter, but I'm going to go with Katie Hopkins. Who is the biggest twat special? Oh, okay, we got special, nice. Stevie Wonder, Pingo or Paul Gascoigne? Oh, that's harsh, man. I can't really say that about any of those. But I'm going to say Pingo, because it's only an animated penguin, so it don't really matter. Nice one. Right, cheers, Shane. Next set of questions from LFC Gamer. Thank you very much. Okay, first question. I'm sure Keith will thank me for this. I probably won't, but if you're a karaoke, who would you like to sing with? Pingu, Stevie Wonder or Paul Gascoigne? Oh, Stevie would be too intimidating because he's so good, so I'd have to eliminate Stevie. So Paul Gascoigne, just for the fun factor, because he'd probably be off his face at that point. So yeah, it'd be quite enjoyable. So yeah, Paul Gascoigne. What games did you have when you owned a 3DO? I had not too many. I had Road Rash, Return Fire, I believe it's called, like a strategy game, which is quite interesting. And I can't remember any of the others. I had a couple more. Road Rash was really good. I like that. The one I never got to play was Street Fighter, though. I really want to play Street Fighter on 3DO at some point. I'm pretty certain I didn't have that anyway. I'm trying to think now, did I? I might have done. I'm saying that, and I'll probably completely contradict myself and have a video on my channel where I did play it. I can't remember. I've got a feeling I might have played it. Nonetheless, it's the version I've always wanted to play the most. So, but yes, Road Rash was the main one I played, and that was really cool. Very good port. Have you played a game by Midas, the company who made some crappy budget titles for PS1 and PS2? Not as far as I'm aware, but as I've never heard of the company, I don't know what their catalogue is, so I don't know, to be honest. I might have done. Are your parents into gaming? My mum loves playing Crash Bandicoot. It's her favourite game. Not so much. My dad, when he was younger, back in the 70s, he used to because back then it was all about getting drunk and going to the pub, and they used to play the arcade games back then. His favourite game's Phoenix. He's really good at Phoenix. Even now on MAME, he's really good at Phoenix. I can't play that game very well at all, but he's excellent at it. But yeah, I mean, my dad was the reason I got into gaming, as I've said many a time. He's the one that started me off, so he's really into his technology and everything. Not so much now. Now he's a lot older. He's not as bothered because he finds a lot of it to be a bit pointless. And to be fair, most modern technology is crap. It doesn't work as well as it's supposed to work. It's very unreliable for the most part. But yeah, in terms of gaming, my mum has no interest whatsoever. My dad, as I say, used to, but not so much now. What do you think of the increasing price of Japanese Super Nintendo games? It's a bit of a pain in the arse, yes, I'm not going to lie. Today I saw an auction go up for Super Turrican, which is the same seller that had it on not long ago for £330. Now wants just over 500, which is bullshit. It's ridiculous. I checked the listings about a month or maybe 2 months ago. I think there were about 4 copies available, complete copies, all hovering around 250, 330, around that sort of area. I checked the sold listings, and that Yamatoku not special, was it Yamatoku Classic that sell only on auction? They sold a copy at the same not long before I checked, and it was about I'd say a 7 on a good day, 7.5, 8 out of 10. I lean more towards a 7. The box had got a fair bit of wear to it, and that sold for £90 on auction. So in my eyes, the absolute premium maximum that you can charge for an absolute mint condition as new copy would be £150, and that's pushing it. I mean, realistically 120, maybe 130, but if you really wanted to buy the game, 150 would be the absolute ultimate. 300 and now 500 is taking the piss. And I don't understand it, because Japanese sellers are usually very good. They're very friendly, helpful, very fair with the pricing as well. Because I know they pay peanuts for these games in Japan. I know Steve Redraw, he lives in Japan and he gets his games for nothing, like a couple of dollars. So I know that they're having a little bit of a markup on them, selling them on eBay anyway. But this is just insanity. The game is not as rare as I thought it was in Japan, because as I say, there were 4 copies available recently. So yeah, it's not common by any means, but it's not super rare either. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to me personally, I've decided what I'm going to do in the future is buy an American Super Nintendo again at some point. And any games like that are just ridiculously overpriced that I can get from America as well, I'll get them from America because they're cheaper. It's just insane. I mean, Turrican, you can get it for like 50, 60 quid from the States in really good condition. So there's no way I would pay that. And also, I paid 500 for a Japanese one. The Japanese one also has got really crap artwork and all. Unusually enough, it's got worse artwork than the West. The West has got the best art. But yes, it is a little bit frustrating. But it is what it is. Retro gaming is increasing in popularity and the prices are going up across the board. But it is a shame. Have you ever made a homemade burger with the works? I've never done it, mate. I have absolutely no ability to cook whatsoever. So that is something I need to learn. Whether I will or not, I don't know. But are you a fan of Manchester music? Oasis, Happy Monday, Stone Roses? A little bit, yeah. I like Oasis. I mean, that's pretty commonplace. Oasis are a brilliant band. Stone Roses is not really my sort of thing. Happy Mondays, they're okay. The odd song now and again. What do you think are the most delusional celebrities at the moment? Kardashians, Kanye, Katie Hopkins, even though I wouldn't class her as a celebrity, she's a dickhead. It's really hard, mate, because I don't pay attention to most of them because they're all a bunch of knobs. All them dickheads on Only Way is Essex, I've got no time for that bullshit whatsoever. And any of those type of shows, I can't stand them. Any of that kind of celebrity, like Essex, what's the other one called? There's Geordie Shore, which is just horrific TV. That's just like base level, worst thing you could ever watch. Then there's the posh one and all, which I can't stand and all. That's Chelsea. God, that's awful. Terrible show. And then there's all them Real Housewives and all the other shite that they put on ITVB. The only good show they've got on ITVB is Millionaire Matchmaker. And that's it. Someone's going to disagree with me on that, but I've sort of got addicted to that show, so yeah. What Super Nintendo games would you love to own but can't afford? I'd love to own Demon's Crest, but it's just ridiculously expensive. Same here, mate. That's one I want. I haven't checked for a while, but I know it's around about 150 or something, so I can own it eventually. It's just going to take a lot of saving up. But yeah, it's a game I really want. I say Super Turrican is another problem. I can't have the Japanese version because it's just insane. Unless Yamatoku put it on auction again, they get lucky. But yeah, some of them are just absolute insanity. Final Fight Tough, as I say, I'm going to be looking around about 200 for that, which is such a lot of money for a game. But it just means that I have to save. That's all it means. Just put a little bit away every week or every month and just wait until you get it. I mean, it's a pain in the arse, but no game is unobtainable. It's just that some of them are just that ridiculously priced that you have to wait a long time to get them. But I think if it's a game that you truly want to play, like Demon's Crest, I would say the best thing to do is, if you can, even if you can only put like £5 or £10 a week, a month, just put it to one side and leave it there. And even if it takes you a year, or even if it takes you 2 years, at least eventually you'll own that game and you'll be grateful that you saved up for it and you'll enjoy it. It's not easy, mate, because I know what that's like, because you just want to buy it now, I know. Have you ever played any of the Wipeout games on PlayStation 1? Yes, I've played a couple of them. Not a big fan, if I'm honest. I love the soundtrack. Gameplay itself, I always found it really difficult to play. I'm not very good at them. I've just found it really difficult to get around the track and not hit the sides. But yeah, they're pretty decent. What drinks and snacks have you prepared yourself for E3? I haven't yet. I'm actually going to go to Morrison's probably Sunday or Monday. I'm not too sure yet. I think the first press conference is on Monday, so I'll probably end up going Monday. Yeah, I'll probably get the usual big bag of Doritos for a start, because you've got to have that. Get some fruit, because I'm trying to be a little bit more healthy. Maybe some biscuits and chocolate and all that crap. Just depends what I feel like really at the time. I'm trying to cut all that out of my body at the moment. Although Doritos are making a big comeback, because they are fantastic. So yeah, probably going to get a lot of Doritos just to keep me going through the night, give me some energy. Probably won't give me energy, probably send me to sleep. And I've got plenty of squash as well to keep me going. Do you like sweet and sour chicken? Not really. It's alright, but I'm not a big fan of it. It's not really my thing. Which do you prefer, boiled or fried rice? Depends. If I'm getting the Chinese, then it's special fried rice. I absolutely adore that stuff. It's beautiful. Boiled rice is alright, like Uncle Ben's is okay. There's some nice ones of those, but yeah, I'd probably go fried. Have you ever tried getting into Final Fantasy games? I played Final Fantasy 7 and that was enough for me. I hated that game so much, it was just terrible. The whole taking it a turn to fight each other stuff is just dumb, and I don't get it, and it just does not work for me at all, so I've never gone back to them at all. Right, cheers mate, thanks for the questions. Next set of questions from the one and only Keith Hewitt. So get comfortable, because there's going to be a lot of questions. Alright, Keith's first question. Did you have any dealings, interactions with retro gaming YouTubers before you made videos? Only in the comment section, like most people who don't make videos. I created an account with just a crap name that I come up with, and I was just commenting on videos, and it's been a long time, to be honest. I can't remember exactly what happened, but yeah, I did comment on people's videos and have a little bit of interaction that way, which is always the best way, I think. Have any other people ever appeared in your videos? Obviously, exceptions of your Western tour and the MT Games tour. Yes, Lawn Boys Post 1979, Dave. He only lives up the road from me, so yeah, he's been in a couple of videos. And was it on my channel? I'm sure we posted it on my channel, yeah. Yeah, we met up a couple of times and we did videos together. What is the most magical moment you've had playing a game? Ooh. That is a question, mate. I don't know. One I would think of was probably when I first played Mario 64 back in the day. And I don't know how it came about, but I got rid of my PS1. I was waiting for the PS2 to come out. And I've said this before, I saw the N64 in Toys R Us with the Diddy Kong Racing on the pod. And I was really impressed. So I picked up an N64. And I remember getting home, putting that cartridge in, booting up Mario 64. You see his big face, it's like, Jesus. And then you put the game on and you're running around outside the castle at the beginning. That was something special. I think even today that impresses, but at the time especially, the PS1 was an amazing console, it still is. But to see that level of 3D at the time was just so impressive. So yeah, I'd definitely say the beginning of Mario 64. Have you ever regretted starting this channel? Can't see why you would, but, because I love it. Thank you, Keith. I have. There have been times, I'll be absolutely perfectly honest, there have been times where I thought, is it time to just go now and to just walk away? Because I think that's just the pressure of it sometimes, is that you feel like your life is not your own anymore. So it's how do I explain this? It's sort of, you've got this commitment when you make videos, because obviously people who are subscribing, they're subscribing to see content. So you need to make sort of consistent videos if you can. But even if they're semi-regular, as long as there's some video content going up and they're not bored, because people are just unsub. I know I've done it myself. If someone doesn't put a video out for 6 months or something, what's the point of staying in contact with them? Well, not in contact with them, but you know what I mean. If you're not, well, should we start again on that one? What I mean is, if they haven't put a video up for like 6 months, you're more than likely going to want to unsub, because there's no point staying subscribed to them. I mean, there have been people I have stayed subscribed to who haven't made videos for a long time, mainly because I just don't get around to going through my subs list and checking who's done what. And some people, like, if you got communication with them as well, you're not just watching them, you're actually talking to them and getting on with them, then I wouldn't unsubscribe, because they may come back at some point. But if it's just somebody I watch and I'm not actually interacting with, it doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, there have been times where I've just felt like it's just too much, and I need to just like scale back, walk away, cut myself off the internet, and just enjoy life again and start getting myself back on track and just enjoy playing games and not worry about making videos and that. But the thing is, like everyone says when they feel that way, as soon as you make a video and as soon as you post that video and you get positive comments in the box below, and everyone's giving you all this great feedback and everyone's being really sound and having a good chat, that's when you feel like this is the reason I make YouTube videos. This is the reason I put myself out there on the internet in the world to be to meet other people and to have these great conversations. And it just really does boost you. It gives you a massive boost. I mean, as soon as you see that positive comment, it makes you really happy. And and you get all this friendly feedback, and you get all these dickheads who keep thumbing down our videos of recent. I don't know why that's happening, but some idiot somewhere has got nothing better to do with their time than to just sit there and thumb down a video as soon as it's posted. Very childish, but hey, what can you do? But those people are completely irrelevant. At the end of the day, that's always balanced out by the amount of people that thumb your videos up and the amount of people that leave amazing comments, and that you get amazing PMs from people which blow you away, which you never expect to get from people, and you make so many good friendships, and all of that is a perfect counterbalance for not doing it. I think it's absolutely, if you can do it, then it's absolutely worth making YouTube videos and interacting with people. It's fantastic. So I don't really have any regrets about making my channel, but there have been moments where I felt like I need to walk away. I'm glad I didn't though. Really glad I didn't. Any news on making a blog? Not yet, Keith. To be honest, I haven't even thought about it. I've had so much going on at the moment, I haven't even had a chance to think about anything. So, should the Wii U gamepad have been made more like the Vita? Well, the Vita's pretty much dead, so they're in the same category, so probably not. The gamepad, what I think it should have done, they should have made it smaller, more easy to use, more comfortable. And they shouldn't have pissed off the third-party developers, which is Nintendo's own fault. And more use of the gamepad should have been used. They should have really pushed for innovative ideas instead of just putting maps on there. It's a real shame. It's going to be looked back on, I think, as a piece of technology that really missed the mark when it could have been something very special. Do you need to play the Uncharted series entirely to understand it? I really want Uncharted 2 and the Vita version. To understand the story, you would, absolutely. You would need to play all three of them through, because the first one introduces you to the main characters, so you get to know them, and it really is about getting to know the characters and the backgrounds and their relationships. So I mean, it depends on what kind of gamer you are. If you're someone who wants to watch all of the cutscenes and really get involved in the story, then absolutely play them from beginning to end. Golden Abyss, I want to play that myself. I'm not buying a Vita to play that, but you don't need to play that to play the others. So play the first three on the PS3, and from beginning to end, you'll love them. If you're a gamer that doesn't give a shit about story and you just want to play the game, then the gameplay, it doesn't matter which one you play, in which order, it's irrelevant. But if you're actually somebody who cares about the story and the characters and all the cinematics, then yes, absolutely. Start with Drake's Fortune and work through to Deception. You need to strap two identical consoles to your feet. Why? and walk around on them like you're wearing platform boots. Which console and why? That is the most bizarre question. I have no idea how you came up with that, Keith. The Virtual Boy for one. In fact, you know what? I'm going to have two Virtual Boys, one on each foot, because they're really big and chunky and they work perfect for platforms. You're decorating, the pot of paint is teetering above a priceless talking gerbil, or a haunted box of doom worth even more than a gerbil. Which do you push it towards? The haunted box of doom, because a talking gerbil can last you forever. Have you ever considered starting a second channel, perhaps devoted to music? Yes, absolutely. I thought about doing a channel for movies, thought about doing a channel for vinyl, but then I just thought, you know what, this channel is about me and this is what I want to put out into the world. And I know from watching other people that I really enjoy watching, they put everything on their channel. My good friend Alex Blutonic78, he'll talk about whatever he wants to talk about. And I feel like at the end of the day, if this is something he puts up, like he'll put football videos up. He knows I don't watch those because I have no interest in football, don't know what he's talking about. And it's no problem, it's cool. You can just pick and choose what you want to watch. And that's what I feel the channel should be a representation of the person who owns the channel. And so if you want to talk about one subject and then switch it to another subject, fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a channel which is, in this respect, just a gaming channel and that's it. But I like to switch it up because I think it can get a little bit stale otherwise. You need to have a bit of variety on there. And I want to show all sides of my personality as well, and my interests, because I know all of you guys don't just game. You have a lot of other interests, whether it be music, film, cars, fashion, whatever it may be that you're into. Everyone's got a lot of different aspects to their life. They have recently introduced solar-powered car charging points that can charge an electric car in 30 minutes. Is it the future? I think it is. Do you agree? I still think hydrogen is the future, mate, personally. I don't think electric cars are good enough. It's going to take a while before they hold their charge enough to actually make them viable. The fact that they can do that with 30-minute charges is a lot better, obviously. That's great. They also don't make any noise, which is a pain in the arse. So you have to put a fake noise in there to make sure that people know the car's coming. I still personally think hydrogen is the better option, but I mean, it's all going to come down to money, isn't it, at the end of the day? And you've got to try and change people's, problem is most people can't afford a brand new car. We all have to buy used cars. So you have to wait, it all trickles down. It takes a long time for that to happen. Does our reliance on fossil fuels seem to be waning? Absolutely. I still think that we're going to have to find, and we will be finding alternatives, to all of the fuel sources that we have. We're going to be looking at alternatives to oil. I don't know how we're going to do it. We're going to come up with something. We're going to be doing wind power. We're going to be doing solar power. We're going to be doing everything possible we can. And I hope to God we do keep moving that way, because we need to save this planet, because the planet is getting destroyed by humanity. Our ancestors obviously had a heavy reliance on coal and further back wood. I'm surprised you never heard about how they damaged the earth too. And you never hear about how they damaged the earth too. Do you agree? You don't, but that's probably because it's history and most people don't care. Most people don't care about the world today, never mind back in the day. So, and the media, well, yeah, so they got their own narrative. They're just, scumbags. But yeah, I probably don't even teach any of that in school either. Whereabouts do a majority of UK tubers live? I would guess Sussex, South East or Midlands for some reason. I'm trying to think of the people I watch. A lot of them are up north. Most of them seem to either be up north, like around Bolton and Lancashire and all that area, or down south in London. And then you get a couple of Scottish people as well. That's the main people I watch. And you get the odd Midlander like myself. I don't live there anymore. Obviously, I'm in the southwest now, but I'm from there. Tootie UK, Adam Shock 16, Ben Shemuzo. So we're all Midlanders. Those guys are all East Midlands on West Side. Right. Whatever happened to Mario Strikers? I have no idea, mate. I played it on the GameCube, I think it was, and it's a pretty decent game. You're right, good game. I'm surprised I never bought that back, actually. I wonder what the hell the next question was. I just saw one word out of the sentence and I thought, oh Jesus, what's this? But it's not what I thought it was, thank God. Are you a fan of the old-fashioned faggots and mashed potato? For any of my American viewers, faggot is not what you think it is. It's actually like a little, I think it's made out of pork, if I remember right. It's a little, it's not even a ball. It's sort of like a rounded shape, but it's not a ball because it's got a flat bottom on it. It's just a piece of meat, basically. You have gravy on it. It tastes absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. I love faggots. They're delicious. Sounds so weird in the modern context that now we've adopted Americanisms to say that. But yeah, mashed potatoes quality, mate. Can't go wrong with that. Ever been a fan of those air crash investigation programs? No, mate, not at all. I'm not a fan of flying, so I'm not watching that at all. My dad used to work in the aerospace industry, and he's told me things, and no thanks. I don't want to be flying a plane and knowing what can go wrong. Do you ever find yourself juggling too many games at once? No, not really. I do my best to try and limit it, especially with the retro as well. I try and keep it to like 1 or 2 retro games and a modern game. And with current gen, I never juggle. I always stick to the one game at a time. What game that you had as a kid or teen did you only complete as an adult? I had Mario 64 at launch and only completed it a couple of years ago. One was Mario World. I only completed that like last year, the year before. Star Fox was another one I managed to finish a couple of years ago. I was really chuffed to finally finish that, the Super Nintendo game. Castlevania 4, I'm not entirely certain if I did finish it as a kid. I think I might have done. I've got a vague recollection. But I finished that last year and I was really chuffed because it's bloody brilliant. Such a good game. Nintendo recently announced that the NX will be Android based. Seems so odd. What is your interpretation? I've actually read that they've said that's not true. That was a rumor, and that Nintendo have actually said no, we're not doing Android. So I don't know, mate. I'm not entirely sure what the facts are on that at the moment. If they are, then it makes sense in terms of their mobile philosophy at the moment, you know. But I don't see it myself. I think it's just going to be traditional console, traditional PC parts. Cardichris only occasionally branches out onto different channels to do narrating and collabs, etc. Would you consider if he asked? He would never ask me, mate. I'm way too low down the totem pole. You know, he's really high up. So, but yeah, I'm always up for collaborations. Whoever asks, I don't mind. I'm willing to give it a shot. What is the worst meal that you've ever eaten? That is impossible. I mean, after all, I've been on the earth 38 years, and you're asking me which one's the worst meal I've ever eaten. I had one recently which wasn't particularly up to scratch. I won't say where it was in case anybody sees this video, but it was pretty poor. Very bland and tasteless and not very well cooked. I did actually tell the waiter, who didn't really give a shit. I never do that. I mean, obviously as British people, we don't do that. We tend to just not go back again. And we tell our friends that it's a crap place to eat. I actually, for the first time in my life, I think my whole 38 years, when he asked me if everything was all right, I said, well, actually, no, not really. It wasn't that great. And he was like, all right. And he didn't give a toss. And I thought, well, that's not a very good service, is it? So, yeah. One of the following people needs to befriend the main character in the last game that you played. Pingu, Stevie Wonder, or Paul Gascoigne. Well, the last game I've been playing was last night was Watch Dogs again. So who's going to befriend Aiden Pearce because he's a miserable bastard? He needs livening up, so Paul Gascoigne, he'll cheer him up. You need to go down the shop, but you're unsure what to eat and drink for tomorrow's free meals. Stevie Wonder, Pingu, and Paul Gascoigne accompany you to the shop. What does each person suggest? Paul Gascoigne would be a 6-pack of lager. Pingu would be some fish, obviously. And Stevie Wonder, something Italian. Don't know why, but I felt like Stevie Wonder likes Italian, so we'll go with that. Ever had a Dr. Oetker Ristorante frozen pizza? Not that I can remember, mate. I'm not a big fan of frozen pizza, if I'm honest. Chicago Town is the best one I've had. Goodfellas is not very good. The base is really doughy and not very nice. But the Chicago Town ones are absolutely fantastic. Did you ever keep your school reports? No, not at all. I didn't really care too much for school. Who would make the best employees at MT Games and why? Pingu, Stevie Wonder, Paul Gascoigne, Mick Hucknall, Katie Hopkins, Donnell Jones, or Jeremy Clarkson, or Lenny Henry. Holy shit, you're only putting enough people on there. That's Sir Lenny Henry, because he's about to get 90s, which is really cool. I would say best employees at a video game shop like MT Games, you're going to have to probably be Clarkson, Lenny Henry, and Paul Gascoigne, because that's going to be some drama. So I'll go with them three. What game do you really dislike on initial playthrough but now love? Or did you really dislike on initial playthrough but now love? Watch Dogs. First playthrough, did not like it. I put a video up talking about that. Wasn't a fan. A lot of things niggled me and pissed me off with that game. But recently I played through it. I've been playing it a lot. I played through it a second time on Xbox One this time. It's PS4 first time. Played through it on Xbox One. Loved it a lot more. Really enjoyed the story a lot more. The characters are still a bit, yeah. As I say, Geordie's the only one that I really cared about. He's really funny. The gunplay was brilliant. The cars are still crap, mind, but they're getting a little bit better. But I'm just getting a lot more enjoyment out of it. I've done a lot more side missions and I've thoroughly enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. So I'm actually excited now for Watch Dogs 2. I'm looking forward to that getting announced, hopefully next week. Fingers crossed. Choose a career. International cabbage smuggler. Why you would do that, I've got no idea, but okay. Or UK wicker basket salesman. I'll sell some wicker baskets. I don't do smuggling. And why? Well, because I don't do smuggling and wicker baskets will be kind of calming and relaxing making them. There's a wildebeest on the pier stealing turnips and wicker baskets from a little old lady and Pingu is there cheering it on. How would you react? I'd kick Pingu into the sea. And then I'd save the old lady. I know you're not into PC gaming, but what's the last PC game that you played? Probably Doom. Yeah, or Doom or Duke Nukem 3D. I can't remember, to be honest. It's been that long. Ever played Bug on the Saturn? One of my all-time favourite games. No, I haven't, mate. I heard of it. I know what it is, but no, I've never played it. Without hesitating, what game's nostalgic value far outweighs its actual capabilities as a good game? I can't even do that without thinking. That's really hard. So its nostalgic value far outweighs its actual capabilities as a good game. I honestly cannot answer that because there aren't any games that I'm nostalgic for that don't play well. That I still think they're good, so I can't give you an honest answer to that one. All your Ask Snes videos make me literally laugh out loud. Do any videos ever give you that same experience? The only videos that really crack me up are John Flickster, the Flick Pick, because that guy is just brilliant. He's so funny. Every time I watch his videos, he just puts a smile on my face and cheers me up. And it really brightens my day up. So I highly recommend, if you've never seen the Flick Pick and his other channel, John Flickster, highly recommend checking him out. He's just an absolutely mental, crazy guy. And he's really funny. Ellen Page, or the friendship of a llama farmer plus a lifetime of £2,829.28 increased with inflation per week, paid in 1p coins. What the hell would you do in 1p coins? Ellen Page, all the way, definitely. I've been watching a lot more Retro Dave Nintendo videos lately. Good. Are there any YouTubers you're watching a lot more of? Well, the one I'm watching the most at the moment is probably Lloyd's Twitter thread, because Lloyd's putting up videos like every day at the moment. I don't know how he's doing it. He's just banging out gameplays. Between him and Dave, I'm having trouble keeping up because they're putting out gameplays like every day, and I've got about 4 or 5 gameplays in my feed to watch at the moment, and Dave's one's about 40 minutes a piece. So it's becoming quite difficult to keep up. But yeah, definitely Lloyd is putting out a load of great videos at the moment. He's doing his Twit Tastes where he does all these gameplays, and they're fantastic. So check them out, guys, if you haven't already. Have you ever considered going skydiving while singing James Taylor and eating a banoffee pie? You've got no chance of me skydiving, mate. Not a hope in hell. What gaming accessory have you purchased and been disappointed in? I once purchased a Super Nintendo Advantage and hated it. That's a good stick, mate. It's not bad. It's not the best, but I mean, it's pretty decent. I can't say I have. I can't think of any accessory that has disappointed me, actually. No, I can't. I only buy stuff that's going to be pretty decent. Well, hopefully. Is Cafe Gold pricey? No, not at all, mate. It's standard cafe prices, and it's a brilliant place to get your breakfast in Western Supermare. Please sponsor me, Cafe Gold. Have you been to the pier since it reopened? A couple of times, and that's it. I'd say it's more for tourists, and it's expensive, and they've got limitations and rules which I don't agree with. So, no, I don't go on there at all anymore. Did they ever complete the Gateway to Western? I don't know, mate. What is that? I've got no idea. So I don't know. Right, okay. Why do people keep referring to it as the next gen of consoles when it's this gen? Good question, mate. I don't know. I think a lot of the journalists are starting to come around to calling it the current gen. But you're right. I mean, it's nearly 2 years now, so it is current gen. Which celebrity would you like to have dinner with, and why? Celebrity is such a loose term these days. I would probably say I'm going to pick 4 people, and that would be the Kind of Funny guys: Greg Miller, Colin Moriarty, Tim Geddes, and Nick Scarpino. Because I think those guys would be brilliant to go out for dinner with, because they're just really, really funny dudes. They'd just be really cool to hang out with. I've now acquired a PS Vita. Well done, mate. Nice one. Superb handheld, amazing graphics, and really want to buy Uncharted. The demo is great. Which YouTuber is the most fond of the Vita in your experience? Well, I don't know anybody from our level down the bottom end where we make our videos, but if you watch Kind of Funny, check out that youtube.com/kindoffunny. Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller are massive fans of the PS Vita, so if you want to get some inspiration, go over there and have a look at that. I've also got Splatoon, and it's amazing. So fun, and Nintendo at its best. Played it yourself? Not yet, mate, no. I won't get to play it because I don't know anybody that lives by me that owns a Wii U, so I won't get to play that, unfortunately. Have you ever been in love with a woman who loves gaming too? My wife loves gaming, fortunately. No, I haven't yet, mate. I've not met a woman who actually enjoys it. I'm trying to think, actually. No, there's only one girlfriend I can actually think of from years back who would actually even play games with me. Most of them had no interest whatsoever, which is really disappointing. It'd be nice to meet a woman who actually, like, at least has an interest or will show an interest. They don't, if they played games as well, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But that's not so easy to find, unfortunately. Right, where are we? Okay. Ukulele looks to be a great game. Will you be tempted back to the Wii U? No. That's the short answer. No chance. What is your prediction about Star Fox U? Will it be more like the original or more GameCube-like? I would assume more GameCube-like. I hope it isn't. I want it more Super Nintendo N64. I don't know what it is. I've got a horrible feeling about Star Fox that they're going to mess it up. I'm hoping I'm wrong because I really want to be blown away next week. I want to be really impressed with the game. But I've got a bad feeling about the game. Just going by Nintendo's recent games they put out in the last couple of years, they haven't impressed me at all. And yeah, I don't know. The only prediction is that it might not be as good as I'm expecting it to be or hoping it ought to be. But I'm hoping I'm wrong. I want to be proven wrong on that. I want it to be an amazing game. I just don't see it happening. What are typical Birmingham sayings? I don't know, mate, offhand. That is really difficult. I don't know. I'm absolutely blanking on that. I can't think of any. I'm not somebody who can pick up different, local sayings and inflections and things. I'm not that kind of person, so I don't know. To be honest, it's a simple answer. Are there any foods popular in Birmingham? Curry, mate. Curry Central, we've got loads of it, and it's all good. Is a washing machine easy to install? What are you asking me for? I don't know. Yeah, as far as I know, it is. I mean, my dad showed me how to do it, and I know how to connect the pipes and everything. So yeah, it's not that difficult if I can do it. I've been watching more videos from Retro Dave Nintendo, which you've already told me. Yeah. Does he regularly watch your videos? Yes, as far as I know, we are good friends. So yes, he does. I talk to Dave regularly, like every week. So like outside of YouTube on the phone and everything. So me and Dave are good mates. Can I challenge everyone to ask at least one question about E3 in next week's video? Absolutely, mate. As many questions as you like about E3. Ask me what you want. So, any of you guys want to ask me questions about E3, please do. I would say, like, that was because what that was is this was a question from last week because they got missed off, unfortunately. But YouTube missed the questions off. And because he's put on there, it'll be the final Ask Snes before E3, which is this episode you're watching right now. So unfortunately, it's a bit late. But if you do have any questions post E3 next Friday, obviously let me know. The Maltese Mafia are in talks with Pete Snes to collect and drive, and to collect and deliver, to Skegness a shipment of illegal sealed Super Nintendo PAL consoles coming into Southampton port. There are 10 boxes each containing 20 consoles, and inside the box, alongside the console and wires, is a packet of seeds from a rare plant illegal in the UK. How do you react? Well, it's the Maltese Mafia, so you can't really say no, but I'd have to find a way around it because at the end of the day, I'm not going to prison. So I'd have to politely refuse. You nutter. Right, okay, next question's from Stroop Waffle. Thank you, mate. Oh, that's good. Right, first question. My most favourite horror movies come from the 80s, particularly because the old VHS tapes gave them an unintentional grainy effect, which added to the atmosphere. Nowadays, every movie is really polished. Do you think certain genres like horror have lost something in this transition? I don't know, to be honest. I can't say I've ever noticed, mate, if I'm honest. I think the only thing that, for me personally, that's really not good about these modern movies is being on Blu-ray. That I've said before, a lot of the CG effects from the 90s look terrible now. They look completely fake, and you can see the separation between the actors and the backgrounds, and that's a real disappointment. So there is an advantage to VHS and DVD in the old formats because you don't see that as much. It makes it a lot more believable. But that's the only thing really that I've noticed. What are the last 5 movies that you've seen, and how would you rate them? Jesus Christ. What's the last 5? Well, I watched 13 Going on 30 the other night, which I've seen loads of times. I absolutely love that film. It's 10 out of 10. Brilliant movie. and love Jennifer Garner. What did I watch before that? You know, I can't even remember what film. I haven't watched many films lately. I don't know. I know I watched Equalizer a couple of months ago with Denzel Washington. Absolutely love that film. I saw it at the cinema and I got it on Blu-ray now. It's a fantastic film. It's a definite 9.5. Great movie. Oh, what, I watched anything else? Oh yeah, I watched Cabin in the Woods a couple of weeks ago. On the what's the word? Jesus. Oh my God, brain freeze. What's that bloody word? Recommendation, that was it. The recommendation of Owen Labosu 77. Absolutely bizarre movie. Not at all what I was expecting. If anyone's seen Cabin in the Woods, whoa, that was weird. It's a good film, pretty decent. It's just very strange and not at all what I expected it to be at all. If you've never seen Cabin in the Woods, please go and watch it because it is bizarre. That's 3 movies I've watched recently. What else have I watched? I can't think of anything. That's the main 3 I can think of that come to mind. But yeah, I've not been watching a lot of films, unfortunately. I need to get back on that. You seem much more confident in your current videos to your older videos. Do you think making videos has helped you become more confident? Yes, absolutely, mate. It definitely has. You know, when you first start out on YouTube, you know, or at least I did when I first started, I was absolutely bricking it. Didn't know what I was doing. Very, very nervous and very uncomfortable doing it. And over time, you just become more comfortable. You become used to it, and the camera's not really there. It's just I'm talking to my friends. I'm talking to people online who like my channel or talk to regularly, and just you just completely forget. It's really weird. You get this mindset where you phase it out, and you just become comfortable. You just switch the camera on, sit down, talk, and it's really, really simple. But it does take a long time to get there. It took me a few years to really get comfortable. Have you played Devil May Cry, and what do you think? I've never played a Devil May Cry game. Yes, I'm just thinking, no I haven't. I've never played one. I'm not a big fan of that hack and slash genre, if I'm honest. I don't like God of War. I think that's boring as hell. The only one I've ever enjoyed was Heavenly Sword. Really enjoyed that game a lot. I never managed to finish it, unfortunately, but a very fun game. But yeah, I just find the whole chaining of combos now, I find it kind of boring, doesn't do it for me. You would have to time warp Stevie Wonder, Pingu and Paul Gascoigne each into a different decade. Who would fit best into which time period? We've got Stevie Wonder 70s, Paul Gascoigne in the 80s because he was normal, and Pingu. Ooh. We'll bring him into the millennium, give him a bit of that Pixar treatment. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Do you think future generations will ever bring the lifestyle back of the hippies from the 60s? Well, the kind of hipster movement at the moment is sort of semi-hippie, isn't it, really? I mean, that's about the closest we've gotten to it. Which is kind of cool. I kind of like the hipster movement. I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's a good thing. You know, I mean, it can be a little pretentious, obviously, but yeah, I think it's kind of cool myself. You want a trip to the Netherlands, what would be the first place to visit? The first thing I'd do is find out where Anita Doff lives, because she's really hot, and then get Ray as well. I don't know how you say his last name, and just because 2 Unlimited were making a comeback not long ago. I don't know what happened to that. It seems to have gone quiet again. I just want 2 Unlimited to come back because I absolutely love them. They're amazing. But yeah, that would be the first thing I'd do. I'd reunite the band. Who do you think is the YouTuber with the biggest collection of video games? My guess is either Pete Dorr or Games81. It's got to be Pete Dorr, I think, isn't it? I mean, his room is insane. His collection is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I've definitely got to be Pete Dorr. Do you have any more collection or pickup videos planned for the future? I do indeed, mate. I've got a couple coming up. I've got an Xbox update I've got to do at some point, so that'll be coming up shortly. This month there's quite a few Amiibos coming out, so I'll be doing another Amiibo video at the end of the month. And I've got my Blu-ray collection I've got to do as well. So I know Murray's waiting for that. So Murray, if you're watching, mate, that is coming. I need to just film it. So yeah, I've got a few different collections and pickups and things I'll be doing. So yes, they will be coming. I haven't heard your neighbour's dog barking anymore in your last videos. There you go, mate. It did happen this time. Do you think he or she knows you're filming Ask Snes? Yes, definitely. I think that little bastard definitely knows I'm filming these videos. It seems to only bark when I want to film a video. Very annoying. Right, thanks for the questions, mate. Next set of questions from Lloyd, Twit the Shred. Lloyd, how you doing, mate? Top bloke. I like the fact that at the beginning he's agreeing with my statement about Apple last week, which, yes, absolutely, mate. Hate that company. Right, okay, so first question up. What is the worst film that you've ever seen? Transformers 2, hands down. Biggest pile of shit I've ever had to sit through. Literally had to force myself to watch that. It was god awful. Way back when you used to have a Star Fox plush toy as your YouTube avatar. You're absolutely right, I did, mate. God, that's going way back. Do you still own it? I'd never owned it, mate. It was just a picture. It was, if I remember rightly, Steve, Back Forward Punch. I was trying to remember his YouTube name. He hasn't been on YouTube for a couple of years now. Over in, I think he's in Brooklyn, if I remember right, in New York. Really, really nice guy. One of the first people I met on YouTube back in '09 when I started making videos. Really sound bloke. I don't know if Steve still watches my videos, but if he does, mate, hello Steve, because you're a top dude. Yeah, he was the one, if I remember rightly, that found that picture online and sent that picture to me, because it actually was a real stuffed doll that existed at some point in time. And that's the only reason I had that photograph, because Steve sent it to me. So, yeah. Is there a genre of film, music, or game that you just can't bring yourself to like? Well, games, it's RPGs. Yeah, it's not like I've never tried. I just can't get on with them at all. They just don't do it for me. Just find them too difficult to understand and get into. Also, RTS games and all, I don't appeal to me whatsoever. Music is going to be IB for dance music. I can't stand it. I detest that with a passion. But mostly drum and bass. I absolutely cannot stand drum and bass. A lot of that comes from living with my best friend for a year. We shared a flat, and he used to play drum and bass every night, and it was all that underground, not jungle, but proper drum and bass. Man, that stuff makes you want to kill someone. It's just vile music. As for film, the only things I don't watch are like what I would have normally classed as horror, but horror is such a broad genre these days. Slasher films and gore films, basically anything where you're cutting people up. I've got no time for watching that at all. I just can't watch that stuff. It messes with my head so much. You've got vinyl, why not Laserdisc? Because the Laserdisc players are so difficult to get hold of, unfortunately. Because I've read all these articles online that when you're transporting a Laserdisc player, it can damage it in some way. I'm not entirely certain what, I can't remember what the reason was, but it can get damaged in the post if it's not packaged properly. So it's always put me off risking buying one on eBay. If I could find one in the local area in a charity shop or a car boot, then it'd be, well, probably not a car boot, but yeah, if I get one in a charity shop, I'd give it a shot, because I really like Laserdiscs. They look really cool. I mean, I don't know how good the format actually is when you're watching it. I mean, I know you have to flip the discs on some of them as well, but the actual vinyl styling of the packaging is fantastic. So yes, if I was to ever come across one in the wild, then yes, I would buy one. I know you have a love for banana and cheese sandwiches. Do you like any other weird combos? Not really, Lloyd. Not that I can think of. The only other option was to put peanut butter on that, which is amazing. Peanut butter with banana and cheese is just the ultimate. It's phenomenal. It sounds disgusting, but trust me, it's really good. And if you're brave enough, give it a try. Pen or pencil? Pen. I don't really use pencils anymore. Not since school, really. Have you ever considered collecting Japanese imports for any other systems? Yes, absolutely. N64 is a big one. I do want to buy an N64 in the future, but I'm not entirely sure if I want to go American or Japanese. The Japanese one really fascinates me because I love the boxes, man. The Japanese boxes are so nice looking, and the box art is just superb as always. Some of the games, not some of the games, but Star Fox puts me off because I mean I love the artwork now, but the voice acting is irritating as hell. So I'd have to get a US copy of that. Other than the N64, the Saturn's always a possibility because I do like the Saturn. I'm not entirely certain on that one. The NES as well, I've been tempted to go for the AB Famicom quite a lot because I really like Japanese Famicom boxes, and there's some cool games that you can't get, like I think it's called Crisis Zone, a shooter that you can't get, a vertical shooter you can only get in Japan, which looks really good. I think it's from Konami as well, that one. And there's always PC Engine looming around the corner. That's always a possibility, but I think realistically, more likely the N64 and the AB Famicom are the two that really intrigue me. But I'm more likely to go American than Japanese when I think about it. I don't know. I'm on the fence with both of those. If you could go back and do it all again, what would you change? Live or YouTube? If it was YouTube, I don't know. I would probably have given it more thought instead of just jumping in the way I did. But then, that's what made me successful in a way, hasn't it? It's given people, it's made people want to subscribe. Is, I suppose I assume my personality, and even though my videos are low quality, the audio is not very good, and the video's all right. But I suppose people stick around for me more than the actual videos. I don't know. I assume that's the reason. That's why I watch other people that I like. So, but the only thing I would do is I would probably take a bit more time to really think about what I wanted to do with the channel, and I would invest in some better equipment as well to make the videos a little bit better quality. In terms of life, well, you can't have any regrets. You just have to learn from your mistakes. That's the best way. There's no point worrying about what happened in the past. One genre of film, music, or game that you feel is overdone to hell and needs to be changed up a bit. Oh, cool. Ooh. With film, it's remakes. They need to stop doing that. That's just getting a bit ridiculous now. The remaking films that don't need to be remade. Music's hard. I don't know music. There's nothing that I can really say with music that's been overdone. That annoys me, because I love music of all kinds of music. I never really, I can't say anything that bothers me with music. Games, wow. The annual updates on certain games like Call of Duty, that needs to come to an end now. Unless they can really refresh Call of Duty and make it something different, which is highly unlikely. I've got no hope whatsoever for Black Ops 3. I think it's just going to be more of the same as it is every year. The only other thing I would say probably with gaming is just give it a rest with all this DLC and all this other crap and monetising the hell out of everything. It doesn't really affect me personally, but I know it can annoy quite a lot of people. If it's on the disc, let us play it. Don't try and bullshit us with some DLC afterwards. I'll also get rid of online multiplayer and all, because it's just a breeding ground for arseholes. Any job interview horror stories? No, I can't say I have. I've been pretty lucky in that respect. I'm not the kind of person who does research either. I know you're supposed to do research and prepare and all, but I don't. I tend to go into interviews blind and just hope for the best and just deal with the questions on the fly. And it's served me well so far. The last couple of jobs I've had, I've managed to get through the interview and get the job straight away. But no, I can't think of anything. I haven't had many interviews, if I'm honest, in my life, because when I was younger, in my 20s, I joined a company and I was there for nearly 11 years on a temporary contract. So I was working through an agency, so I never even got an interview for that. I think I had like a brief. It wasn't really an interview. It was just to go through your CV and everything, and just to see what you can offer. It wasn't like a proper interview. It was just an agency, so it was just signing you up really. When I was really young, I think I had a couple of interviews for factories and things, but I can't think of what happened really. Nothing really bad, thank God. Okay, next questions are from Nat Kennedy Breeze. Thank you very much for the questions. First question is, how would you feel if it was announced that Dire Straits would be composing the next Uncharted game soundtrack? I wouldn't have a problem with that, mate. I like Dire Straits. Dire Straits are great. I think it'd be interesting to see what they would do with it. I mean, I can kind of see that working a little bit. But I personally wouldn't have a problem with that. Bananas or raspberries? Bananas all the way. Do you like 70s, 80s rock bands like Kiss and Van Halen? Yeah, some of them I do. I'm not a big fan of the hair metal thing from the 80s. That didn't really do it for me at all. But some of the 70s rock like Kansas and that kind of music, I don't mind that. Like, any bands like Kansas, Bread, 80s, including bands like Queen and Bon Jovi. So all of that stuff's really good. A favourite hamburger not from McDonald's or Burger King? Shit, I don't know. We ain't got a lot of choice in this country. We've got Burger King, McDonald's, KFC, who don't do burgers, it's chicken. And what else have we got? That's it, isn't it? I think that's all we've got. I know we used to have like Wimpy and that back in the day, but I mean, other than that, it has to be like a local pub burger. There's a lot of good pubs down the town where they have some really nice, like the big stack ones with jalapenos and God knows what else on there and all kinds of relish, Christ knows what. They're always really nice. But as for like major franchises and major chains, those are the two main ones, McDonald's and Burger King. So you've limited me there, I'm stuck. Have you ever considered skydiving while performing the Macarena? As I said earlier, I am not skydiving for any reason whatsoever. Not a chance in hell. Has the success of the Final Fantasy series led to an overestimation of the popularity of the genre on the whole? And that's what he meant last week. Okay. So no popularity of RPGs. I don't know, because I mean, a lot of people I see on YouTube, American, British, and other countries, all seem to be mad on RPGs. So I don't know if it is an overestimation that those games seem to sell really well and people seem to absolutely love them. I personally don't get it, and I never will. But then there's going to be games that I like to play that people don't get as well, like the Quantic Dream games. A lot of people don't understand David Cage's vision and don't get Heavy Rain, Fahrenheit, and Beyond Two Souls. So it's just it depends what clicks with you, really, isn't it? But I don't think there's an overestimation there. Do you like Monopoly or similar board games? Yeah, they're alright. I haven't played a board game in years, to be honest. Nowadays, it'd probably be more like Scrabble or something. Have you ever played a point-and-click game? Yeah, I've played a few. Day of the Tentacle, the Monkey Island games, Beneath a Steel Sky, Indiana Jones Fate of Atlantis. What was the other one I was thinking of? Sam and Max. I love Sam and Max back in it on the PC. That was a really cool game. Have you heard about the Vegemite and Cadbury chocolate bar? And what are your thoughts? I haven't, and that sounds bloody disgusting, mate. I mean, I've never tried Vegemite, but combining that with chocolate does not sound like a good idea. I'd have to try it though, just to see what it's like. But oh, Jesus Christ! Do you like roller coasters and theme parks in general? I like theme parks in general. Yes, I'm not a fan of roller coasters. I never have been. I've been on a couple, but they don't do it for me. I prefer like the waltzers, the what do you call it? The water one, log flume. That was it. I was trying to think what it's called then. Yeah, all the other rides are fine, but anything roller coaster wise, no, I'm not a big fan of. What are your thoughts on Universal Studios theme parks and Nintendo's teaming up to produce attractions at the park? Good idea, definitely. I mean, I'm surprised I've never done it before, really. You think the cast of characters that Nintendo have, that it would make sense really to have a deal with a theme park, because they could really come up with some great ideas for rides and attractions. So yeah, brilliant idea. I like this question. Is Iggy Azalea just a Nicki Minaj wannabe? It's really funny because I was thinking that the other day when I was listening to her. I haven't heard loads. I've heard a few songs of hers. I'm not a big fan of Iggy Azalea, I'll be honest with you, because the fake American thing doesn't do it for me at all. But yeah, I was listening to, especially on the new Britney Spears song and all, Pretty Girls, she sounds like she's doing a Nicki Minaj impression, Iggy Azalea does. So yeah, I very much think she's trying to model herself after Nicki, and she's not as good as Nicki. But yeah, I don't know, she's really cute though, I'll give her that. At least she's fit. Right, next set of questions are from Movies and Games 007 UK. Thank you very much. And first question up. Have you seen the new trailer for Fallout 4? I haven't, mate. Actually, Soulfunk Retro Matt asked me about this the other night. I don't play Fallout games. I've got no real interest in them, so I haven't. I saw a little clip of it earlier. Which one was it on? I think it was IGN's Game Scoop. I think that's well. Yeah, it would have been. I was watching that earlier. And it looked really pretty, but that type of gameplay just doesn't appeal to me, so I haven't watched the trailer. In a battle, who would win between Terminator or Robocop? Let's go with Terminator. Robocop's not agile enough. Terminator would just kick the shit out of Robocop, I reckon. And also, you can call in the HKs and they can just bomb him. So, what were your favourite cartoons from the past? Oh, loads, mate. Transformers, Ninja Turtles, obviously Thundercats, Centurions was one of my absolute favourites. I love that. It's been Mask, which is just a phenomenal show. What else was there? Oh, what was that one called? Billy. Oh shit! There was Jamie the Magic Torch, and there was that. What was that Billy bloody program called? Sport Billy. That was another one. I loved Sport Billy as a kid. That was a brilliant show. If you've never seen that, it was about this kid who's got a magical bag and he can pull anything out of it, cars, anything he wants. It was phenomenal. Brilliant show. Inspector Gadget as well, another classic. Yeah, man, the 80s were really good for cartoons. Some good stuff. The PS2 and original Xbox are great right now to collect for at a decent price. What other systems are cheap for collecting? At the moment, I would say like the Master System's really still well priced. Even the Mega Drive is still well priced, and the Genesis, there's some, you can get some really good deals on that system. Oh, jeez. What else would be? Obviously, last gen as well, like 360, PS3, they're dirt cheap at the moment. The Wii is pretty reasonable as long as you don't go for first party Nintendo titles, which kind of limits to what you're going to buy for it. So yeah, all of those systems are all really well priced at the moment. But yeah, you're right, PS2 and Xbox are great at the moment. Is Mario really popular because of the way he looks or his personality, or because his games are just more fun to play? I'd say because his games are more fun to play. He can cross genres, he can do anything. He can do RPGs, platform games, adventure games, he can do sports games, and they all work really, really well. So that's down to the genius of Nintendo more than anything and the people that work there. But yeah, it's definitely down to the fun factor. Do you remember the Nokia 3210 and 3310s with a classic game called Snake? Absolutely, mate. I had those. 3310, if I remember right, it was the blue one, wasn't it? Which I really liked that phone. It was a cracking phone. And yeah, I used to play Snake quite a lot back in the day. What's the best Simpsons game that you've ever played? Mine is Hit and Run. Mine's still going to be the old arcade game from the 80s. Was it 80s or 90s? I think it was the 80s. But yeah, the 4-player one where Marge's got a vacuum and Homer can punch, and I think Bart hit people with his skateboard, and Lisa had her skipping rope. Brilliant game. Love that. Great scoring and beam up. Fantastic game. Which band do you most like out of the Beatles or the Rolling Stones? Absolutely the Stones. Can't stand the Beatles. Are you starting to relive some of the great days from the 80s by watching some of your favourite films again? I am, with films like Terminator, Breakfast Club and Robocop. I have watched Terminator 2 and Robocop in the last couple of years, which were great. Robocop looks very dated now, but still a good film. T2, phenomenal film. Man, that film is just so good. That was 90s, wasn't it? So in terms of 80s, the original Terminator, I like that film. It's a good film, but me personally, Terminator 2 is a far superior movie. I watched Back to the Future 2 the other night. There's a classic 80s movie. I've got to watch Back to the Future 3 now, because I've never watched it on the Blu-ray. I've only watched number 1 for some reason. But yeah, I love those movies. Brilliant. Do you like the PS4 user interface? I like it a lot more than the PS3 one, which was really laggy and clunky. Now, a lot of people say that the PS3 one was crap. I've never ever had a problem with the PS3 interface. I really like the PS3 interface. The XMB was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. The PS4 one is simple, just like the PS3. It's pretty simplistic and basic, and yeah, it's alright. I like it. I prefer Xbox One, if I'm absolutely honest. I like just visually, not so much like navigation, but just visually, I prefer the Xbox One. It looks a lot nicer. The PS4 is a bit too basic for me, but it'll probably evolve over time, and so will the Xbox One. They'll just change them like they did last generation. PS3 didn't get changed, obviously, but the Xbox One, Xbox 360 got quite a few updates. So maybe it might evolve. We'll wait and see. Right, and the last couple of questions this week are from Badly Worn Toy. Thank you very much. First question: are you excited for the Uncharted remastered version coming to PS4? Hell yes, mate. I've got it on order. Pre-ordered it with Amazon. I was just refreshing, waiting for it to come up for pre-order, and I got it straight in there and ordered it because I'm not missing out on that for anything. I was playing Uncharted 2 last week. I've now stopped playing Uncharted 2. I got about halfway through it. I just thought, screw it, I'm going to wait until the Nathan Drake collection come out and just play all 3 of them back to back. That would have been my 8th playthrough of Uncharted 2 as well. That's how much I love these games. They're amazing. So yes, absolutely, cannot wait. I'm really interested to see how it looks. I'm hoping at E3, I'm assuming because it's coming out in October, they will have a gameplay at the press conference next week. It would make perfect sense just to show what all 3 games look like. I'm most excited to see what Drake's Fortune looks like, because that's nowadays, it still looks nice, but it's very basic compared to the other 2 games. It's lacking a lot of detail. So apparently they're going to do a load of new textures and really update the game, as well as make all 3 games 60 frames, 1080p. So I'm really excited to see what that's like. I'm really hoping that happens next week, that we get a demo of the Drake collection, and of course we'll get an Uncharted 4 demo, I'm sure. So really, it's going to be great for Uncharted next week. Brilliant. And last question of the day, guys. I can only see 2 PlayStation 4 games on your shelf. That is correct. Where are the rest, or do you not have them anymore? I sold them, mate. The reason being, I decided to go for this generation. I decided I was going to play all cross-platform games on Xbox One. Now, the reason for that, nothing to do with like a bit of preferential treatment situation, preferring Xbox One, which I actually do prefer Xbox One at the moment. The only reason I did that was because in my mind I figured that, well, going on Sony's reputation of having amazing exclusive titles on their system, especially PS3 had some amazing games, I'm confident that the PS4 is going to have way more exclusives than Xbox One. Phil Spencer may obviously change that, because I know he's pushing for exclusivity, so there may be a lot more announced next week. But at this moment, prior to E3, I believe Xbox One won't have as many exclusives as the PS4. So my theory was that what I'll do is I'll switch over, have cross-platform on Xbox One. That way the Xbox One will get used a lot more. And if I use a PS4 for exclusives, it will get used a lot anyway. Had I gone for cross-platform on PS4 and only done exclusives on Xbox One, I figured the Xbox One wouldn't get much play. And I don't want to spend all that money and not play on it, you know what I mean? And also, on a very superficial level, I prefer the green boxes. I really like those little green boxes and the way the top's a little bit thicker and the whole rectangular shape. They just look nicer than the PlayStation ones. PlayStation ones look cool, but I love the green Xbox One boxes. They're fantastic. And I've got to be honest, I prefer the controller as well. The triggers are more plasticky than the PlayStation. The PlayStation's got better triggers. But as I've said before, the triggers on PlayStation are shit when you're watching YouTube or watching a film. Because if you don't turn the controller off, the bloody thing fast forwards or rewinds your video. Very, very annoying. Or skips chapters on a DVD or Blu-ray. So that's annoying. But yeah, that's the only reason really. I just wanted to make my Xbox One my cross-platform console of choice this generation, and the PS4 will be an exclusives only console. So that's it. So there you go, guys. Those are all the questions for this week. Thank you very much to everyone who asked me a question, as always. Really do appreciate it. Now, I have had issues last week and previously where, for some reason, some questions aren't showing up in the comments below the video on YouTube. So what we're going to do, I'm going to change the format. So instead of leaving a question down below this video, for next week and going forward, please send any question that you have for me to my email address, which is snestastic@outlook.com. So if you just send it to snestastic@outlook.com, and then I'll read all the questions from there. Make it a lot easier. We shouldn't lose any questions that way. So thank you very much for watching as always, guys. I really do appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Please remember to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next Friday. Okay guys, so it looks as though I missed a few questions. Sorry about that. Just realised after I finished filming, I thought, oh shit. So I've got a couple of extra questions just to tag on to the end of this video. First question comes from Underwater Level, who asks, I've just spent £4 on scratch cards and won £7. What do you think I should do with the money? Ooh, tempted to say reinvest it into another scratch card, but that's probably not a wise move. Walk away while you're successful. So you got £7. Depends what consoles you collect for, but I'd probably buy some PS2 or Xbox games with that, mate. Next question is from 16-Bit J. Thank you, Jay, very much. Thank you to Underwater Level as well. I don't think I thanked you there. First question from 16-Bit J. Do you think that common sense is something that is lost these days? Absolutely, without doubt, mate. There's no common sense whatsoever. No one can think for themselves. Everyone gets offended by every little bloody thing. Everybody has to correct everybody. It's very frustrating indeed, and no one can make a decision. And there's just, yeah, the problem is there's too many people, too many cooks. Basically, is the problem. You know, nothing gets done in the real world in politics and everything because there's too many lefty do-gooders getting involved all the time, and just common sense approach to everything in life has just gone. It's a real shame. There's that bleeding dog again. As a kid, did you have any gaming rituals? Are you rent a game, take away dinner, snacks, etc.? Not that I can think of, no. I mean, most of the time I just get up and play and then go to bed, but that would be most of my day, I think. But no, not that I can remember. If a game has character customization, do you ever use it? It depends. If it's something like, say, Saints Row, and you start the customization at the beginning, and yeah, I can kind of, I swear to God, the freaking dogs, man. Yeah, I do like to do that. The thing is, I'll get a bit anal about it. It's the same like the avatars on the Xbox. I just takes me forever to just try and get the right nose, the right ears, the right eyes, the right clothing, the right haircut, you know, the right skin tone, just everything. I'm just there forever. What was the last one I did it on? Saints Row 3, I think it was. Yeah, I created quite a cool character on number 3 actually. But yeah, I do like to use that. Is there a celebrity that everyone else seems to like that you don't care much for? Several, mate. Kim Kardashian, any of the Kardashians. Any of the people that are on reality TV that people think are really great, I've got no time for whatsoever. Joey Essex and all them load lunatics. So yeah. Okay, and the last questions are from Cal Does Gaming, or Does Games. Thank you, Cal. And first question is, most overrated band? The Beatles, without doubt. Absolutely overrated. Don't get it. Never will. Never understood why people love the Beatles so much. They're just a boy band. So, yeah. Have you ever played the Simpsons Hit and Run game? I haven't, but I've heard many a good thing about it, so it is one I need to check out. I don't know if it's on Xbox or not. I don't think, I've got a feeling it's only on Cube and PS2, but I'm not certain on that, so I'll have to find out. If it's on Xbox, then great, I can play it. Most disappointing game sequel? Halo 3, I would say, and subsequently Halo 4 as well. I just felt like they weren't very good. They were quite boring. They started off strong and then they just got really, really boring. And I just feel like the Halo franchise has been driven into the ground a little bit now. It's just because you've got the hardcore fan base that want it to be Halo, they're not open to any change. And I'm hoping that Halo 5 Guardians is going to be the game where they try and move away from the traditional Halo style. Not too much, because you don't want it to make it a non-Halo game. You still have to keep some of those original stylings. But it just needs something new and fresh, because my God, man, that game's got boring. And I love Halo. Do you think an Uncharted 2 made a crossover could work? Definitely. I don't know how they'd actually approach doing that, but I think narratively you could do it fairly easily, really. You know, they could come across, whichever way you want to do it, whether you're playing as Nathan Drake and Lara Croft comes into the story or the other way around. I think there's a definite possibility, and if they could do that, yeah, I'd be well up for playing that. I think that could be really interesting. Will you be buying the Nathan Drake collection on PS4? It's something I'm really hyped for since I didn't own a PS3. Absolutely, Matt, as I say earlier, definitely. I envy yourself, actually, because if you've never owned a PS3 and you've never played Uncharted, man, that would be so cool to be able to play those games fresh. I mean, I played, as I said, I was on my 8th playthrough of Uncharted 2 the other day. I've completed 1 and 3 about 5 times each. Absolutely love those games. They're fantastic. So I really do envy you being able to play them completely fresh and not knowing anything about them. So that collection is going to be really cool for you. If the main character of the last game you played was out to kill you, how fucked would you be? Well, unfortunately, the last game I played, I think I had this the other week, is Aiden Pierce from Watch Dogs. So you'd be pretty much screwed because, yeah, he can do all kinds of weird shit and he can hack everything and he could probably kill you quite easily. The last question today, guys. Do you think children these days don't play out on the streets because of the internet? Like, it seems weird to think that even just a few years ago, you'd see kids on the bikes for hours, and now it's very rare you see it. It's very true, mate. Around where I live, you don't see kids. It's extremely rare to see them. I can't even remember the last time I saw a kid around here, to be honest with you. But yeah, I do think that's the problem. The internet, with all the devices that people have got now, and the games consoles and everything, are keeping people indoors. When we grew up with computer games in the 80s, and then, you know, video games in the 90s and onwards, and in the 80s as a kid, we used to have, like, we'd play on our Commodores and Sinclairs and Amstrads, but we used to always go out every day. We'd be out on our bikes, we'd be just riding around, just going wherever, we'd be hanging out on the street and just chatting and having fun. We'd be playing a game of Kirby with a ball. Yeah, we'd be doing all kinds of shit. And then we'd go home and play some more video games, and then there'd be days where we'd just play video games all day. But we always mixed it up. We used to always be out and about, we'd always be getting exercise and that. The kids these days don't seem to do anything. They seem to be just trapped away from the scary world where they might get attacked, you know. So it's a real bloody shame that the world's turned out that way. And that's a somber note to end on, isn't it? So yeah, sorry about missing those questions off at the beginning, guys. Got them in the end. So as I said earlier, thank you very much for watching, as always. Please, if you do have any questions for me, please send them to my email address, which is snestastic@outlook. Start again. I'll have to get used to doing that. At snestastic. Send your emails to snestastic@outlook.com. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all the questions, and I'll see you next Friday.